Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here with the Last 10 Books tag. This tag was originally created by Mark Nash, and I was tagged by the lovely Melissa from Sassy Ginger Book Obsession, and I will of course link both of them down below. Number 1, the last book you didn't finish. So I actually have a really hard time DNFing books, but the last one that I kind of did this temporarily with was Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. So I still have my bookmark in it, and I am only 10 pages in, and I started reading this for Tome Topple, I think. And the beginning was, like, the prologue was kind of interesting, but then I don't know, something happened when we got into the main story. I just didn't really like the writing style. I wasn't connecting it. I just wasn't in the mood for this kind of book. And I also was sort of irritated with how they introduced another, like, a female character. I don't know, something about it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I put it down for a while. I do plan on getting back to it eventually, but I don't know. If you guys have read this one and enjoyed it, let me know if you had a similar reaction to the beginning of the book, but then it got a lot better, or if you don't enjoy the beginning, you kind of just won't like the book. Number 2 is the last book you reread. And for me, I think that was Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is the kind of prequel book set in the Lunar Chronicles world, but you're supposed to read it in between the 3rd and 4th books, so in between Cress and Winter. And I pretty much felt the same about it as I did the first time. I will link the wrap-up where I talk about this book down below, but yeah. Number 3 is The Last Book You Bought. That was Mistaking Her Character by Maria Grace. This is the first book in a kind of Jane Austen, like, retelling, or like Jane Austen fanfiction as it's known, and I actually heard about this series from Misty at Book Rat Misty, and most of the Jane Austen inspired books I've read have been like really out there kind of retellings. Like, I haven't read a lot that are set like with the same characters and at the same time and all of that, so I'm really interested to see how I like this one. Number 4 is The Last Book You Said You Read But Didn't, and I don't really do that. Like, I never did that in school, for one thing, but the only thing I can kind of say was similar is I've actually never finished Return of the King, the 3rd and final Lord of the Rings book by J.R.R. Tolkien. And here's the thing is, like, I don't lie about that. Like, if people ask me if I've read the books, I will say, like, yeah, I did, but I haven't finished that last one. But I will admit that sometimes if I'm, like, talking to someone about the series, if it doesn't come up, I won't always mention it, but that's not so much because I'm like trying to conceal that as just the fact that, like, I don't really want to get into like the whole long backstory of why I haven't finished that. But if you guys are interested, so here's the reason why. So I read The Two Towers, I think when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and I really enjoyed it, but like I finished the book, and if you guys remember, like, right at the end of that book is where the giant, like, spider monster thing happens. I hated that part. So that's where that book ends. And then I picked up Return of the King because I was going to just keep reading the series and finish it, and we're still with the giant spider. And I remember being like, I don't feel like reading about this again, because I checked and, like, that part went on, I think, for quite a while. So I was like, I'll just put it down and, like, do it later. And so, like, 14 years later, I just still haven't picked up the book again. So I am planning to do like a full reread of the series and actually finish Return of the King, but yeah, that's my little story on why or how I still haven't finished that series. Number 5 is The Last Book You Wrote in the Margins of. I don't do this. Like, I can't make myself do this. I think like, even in school books, I think there was maybe once or twice when I was in class and I did write in a book. Like, I think I wrote in my giant collected Shakespeare's plays book because we were taking notes during class, and I was like, people say that this is like a good way to remember things by, like, you know, annotating it, but I hate it. I can't make myself do it. Like, I even have a hard time writing in magazines. Like, I don't even really do that, so I'm just not somebody who could write in books. Number 6, the last book you had signed. So I have actually never been to a book signing, but I do have an answer for this, and that is The Dollmaker of Krakow by R.M. Romero. So I actually won this in a giveaway from the author to celebrate the release of the international, or like the British paperback version, which this is. Beautiful cover, I love it so much. And I was so excited to get this because this is a book I've been meaning to read for a while, and I did not know this was going to happen, but she also signed it, and I think that is so cool because, as I said, I've never been to a book signing, so that was just like such a wonderful little surprise on top of winning this book. Number 7, The Last Book You Lost. I don't think I've ever permanently lost a book, but the last one where I was convinced that this book just, like, we didn't have it anymore and it had, like, disappeared was actually a long time ago, and that was my copy of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, illustrated by D. Huxley. I have had this for so long. I got it when I was really little. I love the illustrations. I love the story. I remember reading this, like, rereading it quite a bit when I was younger, and I thought we had lost this forever. Like, it wasn't on the shelf where it was supposed to be, and anyway, it was apparently still here, and it just, like, kind of turned up a few years ago. I don't remember who found it, but yeah, I'm happy it's not permanently lost. Number 8, the last book you had to replace. I didn't necessarily have to replace this one, but that was The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is a beautiful, like, fancy illustrated edition with gilt edges, and my paperback copy that I first got and I first read and reread over and over is kind of falling apart. So I'm not saying I'm never going to read that one again, but I did kind of want to have a copy that I wouldn't be worried about reading again, and so I got this beautiful one right here. Also, I saw Priscilla from Bookie Charm show this copy off, and I was like, that's beautiful. So when I saw it in Half Price Books for like a few dollars and it was like in pristine condition with the plastic wrap on it, I was like, yes, this is coming home with me. Number 9 is the last book you had an argument over. Now, almost every person I have seen do this tag has been like, I don't really argue over books, like I'm not an argumentative person. And you guys are so much nicer than me because I will 100% argue about a book. And I think the last time that happened was with Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, and it was actually with my mother because she is a huge Jane Austen fan. Her and me and my sister are, and we frequently have discussions about the books, and we all have very different feelings about this book and about these characters. So like, I'm a huge fan of Henry Crawford. Like, he's a piece of shit as a human being. He's awful. But he's so interesting, and like, I wouldn't want to read the book without him. And my mom just really cannot stand him as a character. She really doesn't like him. So we kind of got into an argument over like his purpose in this book, and like, I don't know, basically I was saying that I think he's really one of the strong points of this book, and like, I can respect what this book is doing. Like, when I first read this was my least favorite of Jane Austen's novels, and now I'm actually really coming to appreciate it. My mom still doesn't like this book. It's still, I think, her least favorite of all of Jane Austen's works. And finally, number 10 is the last book you couldn't get hold of. And for me, that was Ayesha At Last by Uzma Jalaluddin. I think that's how you say it. I really, really want to read this book. I first saw it talked about from Kathleen at Worth a Thousand Words, and it sounded wonderful. It's about a Muslim girl who sort of gets involved, I think, with her sister's like arranged fiance. I think like she's in an arranged marriage, and like they don't really get along, but her and this man really do, and it just sounded like such a wonderful book, and like obviously the representation is really important, and I just really, really want to read this one. And it hasn't been released in the US yet. It's only available in Canada. I don't think you can even get it from Book Depository, or maybe you can, but it's really expensive. And I think for a while it was available on Amazon, and then they took it down, and it's like not gonna come out for a really long time in the US, and I just like really want to read that book, and I could not get my hands on it. Alright everybody, so that was the last 10 books tag. Thank you again, Melissa, for tagging me. I will see you guys soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!